Welcome to Wayne's World of Mandolin. I'm Wayne Benson. Maybe listening to somewhat traditional mandolin like that, you wouldn't make a connection between some of the things that we talk about, like arpeggios, would first be the thing on our list today. I'm gonna demonstrate this in the key of A because it's such a popular jam session chord. But for this shape, that's the 1, 3, and 5 of the chord. Those three notes. And even though we're not playing in a closed position up here, we can certainly use that same visual thing with these intros. A lot of melodies start on either the 1, 3, or the 5. So for the key of A, we're looking for that really solid bluegrass sound. That last tune that I was playing an intro to, Lay Down My Old Guitar, it starts the melody note that I'm leading into, starting from this note, the pickup notes as they're called. It's really a C sharp note, which is our third. I'm not playing it with my index finger the way I would from our chop chord placement. It's this finger, and I'm playing either an open E, in this case, the E note lower than the C sharp. So there's one version of me playing an intro that starts on the C sharp note of the A scale while in the key of A, and it's a fairly solid, you wouldn't want that intro. That's basically the core of what's happening, but playing a flat 7 note there to get a darker sound, and then a slide, kind of flirting with that minor third C note and pushing up to the C sharp. There's some tempo off of the entire intro. You can see how many open strings are being used. I also have a video about that, where we're reinforcing the sound with a drawn string. When you think of a fiddle using open strings as they, with the bow playing over 2 pairs of strings, same technique with the mandolin, that we're playing through 2 pairs of strings with our right hand. So there's a lot of different stuff going on here to end up with this solid sound. We could also, as if the melody is going to start on an A note, we definitely won't. See, I'm not worried about staying in any certain position. I'm using my middle finger all the way up to the 7th fret to play a slide there. We want a really strong intro that states the tempo that we're playing it, so that nobody has to guess at any of those things. That same intro, that's what would happen if we weren't doubling those notes. I'm pushing or sliding into even the first note. Then I'm playing through all 3 pairs of the strings back here. You could just practice that and then play like the tag of your solo, where so many times, again, looking to that arpeggio shape, a lot of times, instead of just a single A note, I'll land on a double stop there to make it even stronger. That's bluegrass. It really does matter that we have a lot of power and that we play with a lot of authority. This goes back to the early days of bluegrass, listening to Bill Monroe and Scruggs, and just the amount of, I like that word, authority, that they delivered their phrases that they were playing and melody that they were playing. It was so pronounced and so intentional the way that they played. This is what's really on our radar today. So the other interval up to an E note, any of you familiar with that intro would know Bobby Hicks would start playing a fiddle for the back half of that break. But that's an example of starting on the 5th scale degree, in this case E. Same thing. There would be basically the same intro, single notes. Much more power when we play that double note and slide into that E so that we're reinforced with the open E's there and the 7th fret on the A string. So that gives us all 3 of those intervals, the 1, 3, and 5, and a nice powerful way to intro melodies that start on those particular notes. This is just the key of A. Obviously, we want to do this with each different key signature and take advantage of open strings when we can. And when we're not able to, close position things that we start. If I were in G, moving into a root note there, or up to a root note here. We kind of explore the fretboard there for what our opportunities are to play this really strong, I love the word solid, intro for bluegrass music. And then if we get started like that, hopefully what happens is that you're going to hold yourself to that standard for the rest of the break. If it's one of those situations where you're memorizing an intro and you're going to play it the same way every time, if you get those pickup notes really strong like this, then I think the habit of trying to keep the rest of the solo just as solid as those pickup notes, there's a greater likelihood that we do that than if you just start off kind of skating around and unsure of what you're doing. Then you might not pick up that habit of trying to play really solid bluegrass mandolin. All right, I hope this helps, and I'm sure we'll do some follow-up stuff later with other key signatures in this bluegrass direction. If you like this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. You could reach out to me at Facebook if you want some Skype sessions. Just private message there.